Hello everyone and welcome back to LSI F1 World Championship. We're today for round 6 out of 16 already. I do not believe it. The Japanese Grand Prix. Welcome back to Suzuka since, was it season 5 maybe? That was when Zingy made his debut, winning the first race of the season. His first ever race in LSI, of course. And his first championship as well. So a lot of winning there for Zingy in that season. But I don't know. I can't quite remember if we did it more recently or not, but we're back to Suzuka, of course. It is also in the Formula 1 calendar this weekend, so that's why we're here. And we're looking for a good one. We are looking at a clear weather situation, and also we're looking right now at a Mercedes, but not who you think it is. It's QKS, so welcome back, QKS. Let's see what they can do as they come down. Let's start finish straight into turn 1. How about this? Okay, down the hill we go. Getting it to the outside curve as much as they can to try and open up the next one. Not going over the exit curve too much, but still not too bad. You want to get as close to the S curves as you want. Yeah, these curves can kind of be ridden for the further on you go up the S section, but turn 7 not really so much. You've got to be careful on the exit that you don't lose the car because it can easily lose all its grip. Slight dab on the brakes as you get into the first stationer, but no, unfortunately for QKS they lost it. I don't think they committed to the corner enough, and I think that might be why they just had a bit of a loss of grip. I think if they rode the entry, the first stationer, then I need to go and check the pronunciation of that one in a minute, but I think if they rode a little bit more entry, they'll be okay. Nifajan has retired from the session already, off camera unfortunately. So I don't know what's happened there to Nifo, but that will not be an improvement on qualifying. We got PJ on a lap, on an out lap. We got Sky, who is on a lap, I believe. A watch on board until sector 2, of course. They get a car moving out the way as they are getting as close as they can to the curb. Slight dab on the brakes and then back onto the brakes here, just to keep that kind of close apex, I guess you could say, a long apex. Loses the car, as I said. You've got to be really careful. You want to bring it out wide, close to the outside curb, but you bring up too much momentum and it will ruin you. You've got Geisler on a lap. Are they on an improvement lap? Yes, they are by a tenth, just over a tenth. They get through to the tunnel now. Not riding that exit curb. You've got to really be risking it there, of course. You can't even go on the throttle, really, with the exit curb unless you've got a good setup to do it. All the confidence, and they come out of the hairpin. Lovely stuff. Now you've got a bit of a bumpy section here as you go towards Spoon Curve now. Heading through turn 13 into 14. Really smooth on the throttle. We're in 5th gear. Just a little bit of a moment. Has to carry on off the circuit just for a moment as well to ensure they didn't invalidate the lap. They might still be able to gain some time through 130R, flat out through here, no question about it. Stays to the inside of the track now into Casio Triangle. Lovely stuff. Into a final few corners. Down to turn 17 and 18 and across the line. What's it going to be? Minimise the track distance on the right hand side. And it's a 30.0. So they did improve by 2.2 seconds in the end. And they gained a lot of time since their first lap. Now, you probably realise that we don't have too many drivers out on track right now. But that's not a problem. We can still have a great race today, I'm sure. Nifo starting at the back of the grid. They've got a bit of work to do. Of course, last weekend's winner in Singapore. So they've got pace. I think we can see some good racing from them. You've got Zingy coming out of the pit lane. I think they're on a out lap, unless it says they're improving here. We'll have a look. Wesley Caspers has just set a 28.8. Pretty much dead on with Zingy, just a little bit in it. Purple sector for Zingy now as he is on a lap into the hairpin. Got a car moving out the way on the inside. Slight lockup, but not really enough to say that he lost any time. I think he's just trying to push the limits as he gets really close to the right hand side, cutting the corner almost. And gets to the slight curb. You have to try and ride that to minimise everything. Gets to the outside curb. dips the wheels on. And once again, you can see really opening up the steering to make sure you can get that traction down. Whereas we saw earlier on, guys actually lost the car because of it. So through 130R, no question here. They do go wide intentionally, not by accident there. That's an interesting one. Didn't take the entry curb as much as they probably would, and they've actually backed off. So maybe they weren't happy with that lap, and they're going to go into the pit lane and come out for one more final run shortly. Usually don't really do too many more than 3 runs. Not really because there's not enough time. That might be the case, but it's usually because you just don't want to use all your tyres. And for a circuit like this, where it's very unpredictable, we might need to look at a couple unpredicted pit stops. Although, it also only lasts about 5 to 7 laps, so they're not really that great. It's about 15 to, I'm going to say 18, is it? No, it's 12 to 15 laps on the mediums. And that would then put you on, I believe, 15 to 19, maybe 20 if you really want to extend it on the hards. But we will be doing a hard, medium, medium, hard. Probably a hard, medium, but some people might want to try and get away through the pack as soon as possible with a medium starting tyre. UKS is on a lap right now. Is it a fast lap? That is the question. We'll have to wait and see if it looks like it's going to be anything. Of course, times are around about a 128 with the top 2. I think he can still set a good lap here. Just needs to get a valid one in right now. Then we can, of course, have a second run with UKS later on into the session, which will allow them to push for everything. Comes into Sector 2, going purple. Now into Sector 3, send it into the chicane. Absolutely through. Lovely stuff. Perfect job riding over the curbs nicely. Smooth onto the throttle. Across the line, what's it going to be? And it is a provisional pole position by 3/10 there. 3/10. How about that? That is lovely, lovely stuff. And Wesley Casper Zingy all of a sudden find himself in a difficult situation. And I know Zingy's the king of race starts, but he's going to want to be on the front row for turn 1, of course. Turn 1 is so difficult to get right. We'll have to see how it goes. We've got 3 people at the back on outlap. Sven Nydam here today. Unfortunately, he's got some hardware issues. His wheel isn't quite working properly, so they're going to be on some very low force feedback, if at all. They might have some more technical difficulties later on, so hopefully Susanne can have a good race, but right now it's looking so difficult, and it's going to be hard to actually set a lap time. So yeah, it's not ideal, but it is what it is. We're actually going to go on board with Igor, and actually I remember Season 5 wasn't the last time we went to Japan, because we went to Japan in Season 7, I believe. Igor's in contention for the race win. He was in P3 in the end, I think, as Cisco battles for the lead with Mr. Otto 4. So that is where we raced last, Season 7. Of course, Zingy won Season 8, we're in Season 9 right now. So they're side by side through 130R on the final lap of the race, and it was decided by absolutely nothing. I even forgot that it was the last lap. Igor, unfortunately, wasn't close enough to actually have a go for the lead. He just had to sit and watch as he took a podium. Let's see what Igor can do now as he starts another lap in the qualifying session. Lots of people out on track right now. We're on our final few minutes of qualifying into turn 1, braking just before the curb. A bit of understeer, unfortunately. Maybe that is a setup feature, riding the inside curb, which is going to give them a bit of rotation, I'll say that. A bit of over-rotation there. They had to dab off the throttle, unfortunately. Bit more understeer and loses the car up the hill, so not ideal. Pushing it a little bit too hard. I think, like I said, bringing it to the inside then to the outside, you can bring a lot of momentum, but you've got to be careful because the car will try and just die, I guess you could say. The tyres will just not grip. So you've got to be really careful. We've got guys that are on a lap. We have Zingy on a lap, so watch on board, see if Zingy can get that 3/10 on the cars around him and try and go for pole. 1/10 right now. If he can get 2 more tenths in the next 2 sectors, then he will look at it, riding that exit curb just with kind of not on the floor, but they had their left wheels over it, which is still going to be a bit difficult, but not riding it enough to be much of a problem. Once again, keeping it as tight as they possibly can, minimize that track distance so they can gain all the time. They've got the top two on their way out of the pit lane. Everyone on the track right now. Here we go. Zing's got the final few corners to go. Down the back straight, just praying that your setup's good enough to not lose you too much time. Those bumps, you might bottom out, but we'll see. The ride height's pretty medium around here at Suzuka into the Castillo triangle chicane, riding the inside curb a lot harder this time around, and that's going to gain them some time surely, really keeping it as far right as they possibly can across the line, and it's not going to be enough. It's not going to be enough. It's only a 10th improvement in the end. I don't believe it. They've lost time after all of that. Wesley Caspers is going to be looking to go for a lap here. We've got Casper's got everybody on the lap right now. We'll see if there's going to be any more improvements. QKS, of course, about to start a lap. I think that's Casper's guy who will set their next lap. We've got Wesley Caspers going to try and look for a pole position here to steal it away from QKS, although QKS is on their way to try and defend this as Igor once again makes a mistake. That is on turn 7, on exit of turn 7. They've lost that one, unfortunately. Wesley Caspers sitting in P3. Going up the hill, and that's Casper Sky. They retire on the session. They retired from the session. They didn't set a lap after all. No, they went into the pit lane. Oh no, when Wesley Caspers is round as well. Turn 7 got to the better of them, and that's going to be that one gone. Wesley Caspers will not challenge for pole position. Zingy will not challenge for pole position. QKS will not challenge for pole position either. They've all binned it. I do not believe it. I do not believe it. They've all binned it during qualifying, and that will be qualifying complete unless Singy can somehow bring that back. Is Geisler on a lap? I don't think they are. Is Sven on a lap? They might be. They are on a lap. They're on their only lap of the session. They're looking to try and set something to see if they can push their way up. It's just so difficult for Sven at the moment to set a lap. We'll have to watch on board and see what they can do. But right now it's pretty tricky. Let's hope for Sven's sake that you can get someone in. Heading to Spoon Curve. Out the final corner. Down the straight. Just waiting for 130R to come through. Even though it's sim racing, there's such a buzz that you get if you go through 130R max speed, drifting to the right hand side a little bit, but keeping it together so far into the braking zone. They're going to get the lap done. Just move on the throttle, don't lose the car, and they're going to get a time in. Let's see what's it going to be. And it's going to be a 29.9 in the end. So they managed to put themselves in P5. So that is QKS on pole position. Mercedes 1-2 with Zingy sat in P2. On the front row, Zingy does get the front row after all. Now, who starts on pole position? I'm trying to think. I think... Not who starts. Where does pole position start? I'm trying to think where that was. It might be on the outside. We'll have to see, though. We'll have to see. There's benefits to each of them. QK Zingy, Wesley Casper's taking the top 3. Hopefully we can see the race director. All good. And we'll be back for the race. We'll see you in a bit. Lights out and away we go into turn one. An interesting way to start the race from Codemasters, and lag galore as we manage to just about get underway. Zingy takes the lead in the Grand Prix as Wesley Caspers goes to the inside. Slight bit of contact as they go off the circuit, but Zingy leads the way at turn one, and Wesley Caspers into P2. QKS drops to P3 after not getting the best start in the world. And then we have Geiser in P4. Great start from them. Sven Idem maintains their P5. Cisco right behind here, looking to try and make some moves. So they got Caspers guy right behind. Nifo makes 2 positions right off the line as they go side by side with PJ. They're still going to try and get it done, but PJ goes off the circuit, has to back out a little bit too late on the backing out situation, but they managed to make the move. And yeah, PJ has to give in the end, and unfortunately they've made a mistake on exit, and that is not as also it's got to be a VSC, surely. I think that says VSC. Unfortunately, my eyesight isn't that good to be able to see. It is a VSC, of course, because there is no safety car deployed on the mini-map. So yeah, that is the current situation. Unfortunately, PJ making a mistake. Do they have damage? They do, unfortunately. So going on to gravel, they got to under the tunnel section and they lost it. So not ideal. Alrighty. Gonna put some data on the screen as we see the green flags once again. Once again, some lag, so I'm not entirely sure what is going on. But yeah, that's nothing I can do. But we're once again racing at Suzuka. Zingy leads by half a second. QKS 1.1 seconds off at the moment. So looking for pole, but not for the lead at the moment. They're slowly bringing it back through the S section. They've had a bit of a chance to recover back from, of course, the actual start of the race, so that should be good to go, and hopefully they can get back into this fight. But Wesley Caspers is trailing Zingy right now. They're looking pretty good, the top 2. We'll have to see how it goes. Now, looking at the detail, positions gained, of course, and 1 pit stop for PJF. They have unfortunately had to make that early stop. Zingy currently on the hards, everybody else on the hards until we get to Cisco and Egapro, who are both on the mediums, both Astons, looking at the same kind of idea. PJ unfortunately having more issues despite making that pit stop. Alrighty. Pretty much just in a train at the moment. Nothing is happening. Have we got anybody behind looking for moves? I don't think so. We have Nifo actually, who's going to have a go on the inside, now to the outside line as they go into Casio. Casper Sky still trying their best to fend off the move, but it's not enough, and Cisco will take it, and that's PJ retiring from the session, and that is their race done. Their race is done, unfortunately. PJ will not be scoring any points after all. Everybody, all they need to do is finish the race and they will score those points. Casper Sky actually dropped back behind Eager Pro after being passed by Nifo. So does Casper Sky have a bit of a problem? Of course, Igor is on that medium tyre, but they were in the pack and now they're just slowly dropping back, unfortunately. We have Nifo, of course, going to try and hunt down Cisco here, but Cisco is in a train, so that's going to be quite difficult to get through. Although actually with no DRS on the back straight, you might have a chance getting through, but it will just be the start-finish straight, which will be so difficult to do anything. You really have to set yourself up in Sector 2 to have a go into Sector 3, otherwise it's probably not going to be overtaking season, of course. Bit of a mistake from Sven. Cisco might be able to gain here if he can get on the throttle smoothly. Oh no, that's a big crash as Geisler goes round, and that is surely a safety car. It is a safety car. That was a big crash. Zingy is called to catch the Delta right before the entry. They're having to slow down like absolute madmen as once again the game is completely broken, and I do apologise for that. It's going to be no pit stops for anybody. It's not a good time to bring out the safety car for anybody. It's just going to be time to save the tyres, save the ERS and go again. And these top three, they probably weren't really looking for that. Oh, they're very, very close into turn one. They probably weren't really looking for that. They probably just wanted to get everything done, you know. They had a good start. They were relaxed with each other. Got the first possible opportunity of overtaking, of course, on lap 3 of DRS, but nope. Unfortunately for Wesley Caspers, he's been denied of that chance, and he's going to have to sit behind Zingy for a little bit longer. No one will go for a pit stop. It's way too early, but already 2 DNFs. And that is absolutely terrible news for Geisler. That was a nasty crash, I have to say. So they got on the exit curb, it seems, like they did in qualifying, but instead, in the race, they didn't actually keep it in a straight line. And yeah, it was a one-way trip to the barrier. And at that speed, going into the barrier, it's gonna cause you to DNF. So it's such a shame. Geisler was doing well, but now it's all over. We'll have to see what they can do next week. Maybe even tomorrow if they drive in the F1.5 tier, of course. But Zingy leads the way. Wesley Caspers in P2. It is an Alpine a Mercedes Alpine 1 and 2. Like we've seen. That's, Wesley Caspers finally back into the race, of course, as they were unfortunately forced to leave the race, leave Singapore, of course, on the first few laps due to a collision with a car, of course, at turn 8, or 9, I should say, and then unfortunately again at turn 12, of course, with the connection issues of Dream. So yeah, that's not ideal. Alrighty. He leads the way on 4-lap old hard tyres as we begin lap 5. We will be going racing once we begin lap 6 of the Grand Prix. And yeah, this is going to help everybody extend their tyres. It's going to help the hard tyre runners just be a little bit faster later on, but to be fair, they don't really need it. That is QKS losing positions as they've had an issue under the safety car. I don't know what just happened there, but that's going to be QKS in P8, and Sven Neidem and Nifo switch positions as well. So that is a weird one. Not entirely sure what's going on. No one's returning any positions. They're just having to deal with it. So yeah, that's a weird one. It's a shame, PJ. I will talk to you after the race about it, and we can try and figure something out. Alrighty. The medium tyre runners are going to be liking this. They can extend a little bit more. I mean, they won't have to spend as long on the hard tyres. Time will tell, though. Everybody's going to have to start warming up the tyres. As you can see, they move left and right. All the ERS is going to be absolutely full, and I'm trying to think of what else I was going to say. But, oh yeah, fuel consumption. They're going to have to burn a bit here, because you will gain a lot. You can gain a lot, actually, at Suzuka and ERS, because you're lifting so much and braking so much as well. There are a lot of straights, but the fact that you're lifting so much in the S section, not really using any ERS or fuel, you can gain a lot. Zingy will restart the safety car once again. When's he going to go for it? We know what he's done in the past. He's already gone for it. Okay. He's gone for it and caught Wesley Caspers completely napping as the Aston reacts well to Wesley Caspers, but it's not good enough for the Alpine, and the Alpine's going to get challenged into turn 1 if they're not careful. Spamming the ERS, trying to use everything they possibly can into turn 2. Wesley Caspers will maintain that P2, but it's not good enough, as he will now lose the DRS range to Zingy. He's going to have to push like an absolute madman if he wants to be back to the winning possible positions. I don't know what I'm saying, but that was not ideal for Wesley Caspers. Cisco sitting right behind here, and Nifo gets a great restart as well. Sven Nydam misses out on the restart as Eager Pro. Once again, we've got an Alpine followed closely by an Aston, so Eager Pro's right there, right behind, looking to try and challenge here. Then we have QKS, who made the move on Casper Sky, but they're still both quite close to one another. Eager Pro wants to try and find a way past Sven Nydam. Of course, he's not slow, but with those technical issues, he doesn't want to be involved in anything that he can avoid. We have this Zingy leading the way. He's kind of balanced the gap at this stage with a 1.3 second situation. Now let's see the straight line speed difference. You can see is Wesley Caspers just a faster one in a straight line, and Nifo already goes for the move actually on Cisco. Cisco loses quite a lot there. They're already up into P3, and they're very, very close to the back of Wesley Caspers and looking for a fight for the win once again. They've done it every single weekend, at least once this season. Even if they tell you otherwise, they have. They just haven't had the best luck, but they got in a very good position, of course, for Singapore. Now, they've put themselves in a very good position for Japan off that restart. So, you know, the safety car did help, but you still got to execute it, and they've executed it lovely. So, really well done to Nifo to now gain all this time, and he's absolutely rapid right now, catching up to Wesley Caspers. Zingy is catching about a tenth this lap. He's kind of brought the gaps back, so maybe Zingy is using a slightly higher downforce setup, I don't quite know. But Cisco 1 second behind on that medium tyre. They're still making this work. They also have no pressure from behind, so they can just relax at the moment. But, of course, they'll want to try and stick to the guys ahead if they can get some DRS. But at this stage, they don't need to worry. If they can just get consistency together, then they should be good to go. Sven Nydam, as that's actually Wesley Caspers losing the position to Nifo already. Nifo is an absolute madman. What is going on? That's absolutely amazing. Wesley Caspers not able to fight Nifo. Of course, at this stage of the race, a lap 7 out of 27, or 28, I should say. DRS is available, but there's not really much of a need to battle, of course. Nifo can just drag Wesley Caspers along with him if they can work together. But yeah, that is pretty impressive for Nifo. Just found it right on the restart. Absolutely insane. There is a 2-second gap now to Zingy as they did switch those positions. We'll have to see how that changes. But I don't know if Wesley Caspers made a mistake, if he's got an issue, or if Nifo has just absolutely demolished that and is going to try and now hunt down Zingy. But Zingy pulls a 10th, so he seems absolutely rapid in the corners. Got all the confidence in the world. Once again, we do see Zingy have a lot of confidence in the corners, on the throttle. Very excited right there. Be careful, I should say. That was good to see, but maybe you want to do that in a show run or a practice race. Oh, QKS is out. QKS is out on their exit of the hairpin. That is the Mercedes driver not going to be completing any more laps, and that is another safety car on the left-hand side. So that's an interesting place. They must have rode the curb and then hit the left-hand side wall. That is an interesting way to actually retire. So QKS will not score any points today on their return to LSI. It's a shame. It was great to see them, but that's then done. Safety car will be deployed. This once again isn't the best timing for a safety car to be deployed. However, oh, okay, and there goes Sven's Wheel issues once again, and that is now them out of the race this time. Yeah, that is a shame. There is a reason for that. They didn't just bin themselves in the wall, so they won't get a penalty for it. But yeah, that is not ideal for Sven, and that is a shame that their wheel is in that position. Looking, as I was trying to talk about the medium tyre runners, they're actually going to be in an alright position, of course, because they pit now. It's a little bit earlier than they would have liked, but you can still do just under 20 laps on the hards. So they're going to be good to go. There's going to be a little bit of tyre management, but at a circuit like this, it won't be too bad. Of course, the tyre temps will be pretty good as well. So we'll have to see how these guys run, but yeah, Cisco and Eager Pro are going to be good to go to the end of the race, whatever the weather, unless of course we get a late safety car which forces everybody to go on to the softs. They might be able to go back to the mediums if they really needed to later on, but I think the mediums for those guys are pretty much done. There's not really much point in going back onto that tyre, so they're just going to have to stay out for now until we get to the last few laps. Of course, the softs lasting about 5 to 7 pace-wise. If you really wanted to extend it on the safety car, you could go to lap 10 if you really wanted to push it. But other than that, I think we might get a late call in from the safety car. It's possible, although it would have probably been called in right now. Wesley Casper, not Wesley Casper's, Casper Sky is warming up the tyres, preempting this just in case. I think that's a good idea because it might still happen. I think it's come way too far to actually be safety car going in. Zingy's waiting. He's tried to back off just in case it did do its thing, but no. The safety car will stay out for one more lap at least, which will allow everybody to save their tyres a little bit more, and we'll get closer to that pit stop period. Now, looking at the tyre strategy, I'm going to have to take a moment here to actually count, because once again, I'm not the best at counting. So, well, of course, we've got 7 laps. 5, 15? So lap 15, you have lap 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. So no, you want to pit on lap 16. If you're on the hard tyre right now, it's probably worth to pit on lap 16 and then do 12 laps on the mediums. You could pit earlier, but these guys will want to pit some point soon, of course, and get onto a set of medium tyres. I'm saying around about lap 16 to 18. There's not really a need to extend any more than that. So, yeah, that will be that one. Alright, safety car will go in this lap, just waiting for that confirmation. Sorry for the delay, just having to check a couple of things. My bad. Alrighty, should be good to go. Waiting for that confirmation. When will it? Actually, I don't know when it will actually appear. It might be the sector line. It might even be earlier. It's usually the sector line. So we should be good to go. Here comes the sector line. And here comes the confirmation as well. There you go, confirmation. The safety car will be going in this lap. Everybody's got their tyres slightly warmed up, and now they will be waiting for the restart. Nifo this time will react instead of Wesley Caspers. And yeah, Nifo's going to try their best to react to Zingy. Zingy hasn't gone for it yet. I thought they might have done, but no, they haven't. Now they've gone for it, but Nifo makes a mistake, and Wesley Casper's going to get compromised. Nifo's made the mistake. I don't believe it. He's made the move before, but Nifo was going quite slow, so I don't know if that's legal or not. He doesn't gain the last advantage. He has to let the position go after all, and Casper Sky is now going to be in P3. I don't believe it. What a start. What a shame for Wesley Caspers. He had to return the position. Otherwise, he would have got a penalty. Nifo makes a mistake and Wesley Caspers is out. I don't believe it. They're around. They're still in the race, but after a perfect restart, it's not gone well. I don't know if contact will occurred there, but that's that one done. Wesley Caspers damaged. They're going to have to take a bit of an earlier pit stop, and that's not what they wanted to do. Oh, that is such a shame. Such a shame. Such a great restart. But it was short-lived. Zingy now leads by 1.7 seconds. And Nifo does maintain that P2 after all. So very, very lucky to keep that right there. But they lost so much on that restart. Wesley Caspers is not going to be happy with Nifo after that one. Nothing they can do, and it's nothing to be angry at. But it's just very, very disappointing, I guess you could say. For Wesley Caspers, because he's just lost all that time to the lead car, and there's such a gap between the two. Goes purple, does Wesley Caspers, so he's looking pretty rapid. We'll have to see how it goes riding that inside curb on the final corner. And he get a good run. We'll wait for that DRS to come in, and we can maybe see our first dose of DRS actually working. I don't quite know. DRS will be available not on the next lap, but the lap after, because there's only one DRS straight, and that is the start-finish straight. So, yeah, it's going to be another 2 laps before we see any kind of DRS. Nifo, if he wants to catch Zingy, will have to do it now. He actually will have one more lap to do it, of course, to get that DRS. So he'll want to push on the ERS so he can get that, because the DRS will be an advantage. Just allow him to manage a bit more. Goes for a middle purple sector as well. So these guys going absolutely to the limit right on the restart here. As that Cisco's actually lost a few positions if they had to make a recent pit stop. I don't know. They haven't gone into the pit lane. I think they've just lost a couple positions. So that is an interesting one. Cisco is... Oh, a ghost car. They've left the session. Oh, I didn't realise that. That's Cisco being lapped. Really? Lapped by their teammate? Okay, I didn't see... Okay, now they've left the session. I don't think they've actually been lapped. I think that's a bit of desync. They actually are in P5. Hopefully they can rejoin and gain that position back, but that's not good for Cisco. Very, very, very tight over the corner there goes Zingy. He's pushing everything on that final corner, of course, to try and not let Nifo into that DRS range. We've got one more lap, or I guess you could say just under a whole lap to get that DRS back. So Nifo's going to be pushing here, otherwise he could be in trouble from Caspers. Caspers is close now. He's very, very close. A lot closer than I thought. Cisco rejoins the session, and they should be good to go. Oh, no, no, no! Caspers is round! I don't believe it! Off at the S section. I don't know which corner that was, but that is such a shame. Eagle will now take the podium position, and that is Wesley Caspers losing the car. Just not able to cope with the grip. Of course, the top 3 didn't pit. Now, Eagle Pro is in a good position to go to the end. They're going to gain a lot of time here. They just need to stay consistent, and they will be on for a very good position. Hopefully for them, another safety car doesn't come out. But right now, for Wesley Caspers, and of course Cisco and Casper Sky as well, they all want a safety car. Nifo wants to get to Zingy, but 0.7 seconds, Zingy seems to just have brought it on. So that final, or that previous lap I should say, was very, very good for Nifo, but he wasn't able to maintain it for the following lap, and that is why Zingy's now brought that gap from a 1.6 to a 2-second difference in like a couple of corners. That's absolutely amazing. But Zingy really looking good on that downforce, as we spotted earlier on in the session as he was trying to stay ahead of Wesley Caspers. So both Nifo and Zingy can kind of relax at this stage. They don't have the Alpine behind them. The Alpine is quite a way behind them now, about 9 seconds, is that right? If my maths is correct, you have to correct me. But yeah, Nifo, Zingy just sat at this stage of the race, relaxing, not really doing much. They just need to keep it consistent. Of course, Nifo wants to catch up to Zingy. There's still a long way to go in this race. So we'll have to see. We have gone past the halfway line of this race. No, we haven't. Yes, we have. No, we haven't. Yes, we have. Yes, we have. We've gone past the halfway line. Finally get it right. There we go. Now, let's see what can happen. At this stage, everybody is just kind of in a bit of a situation. Now, Cisco is back in the session, but apparently they're a lap down. I find that quite hard to believe. The chances are we might see Cisco bump up the entire order when we cross the line. I don't know what it says for them, as they are once again an AI car. They're once again now an actual proper car. So I don't know what the situation is for Cisco, but right now they are, unfortunately for them, lapped. Wesley Caspers is sitting in a P4 trying to catch up to both Astons, as that is Eager Pro making a mistake, exactly what I was fearing. Wesley Caspers will not need to make the overtake as Eager Pro gifts him the position. Ah, what a shame. What a shame. Eager Pro loses it, and that is them back into that P4 position. Wesley Caspers now 10 seconds behind the top two. Not looking ideal. They're back in the race, of course, in Singapore. They didn't get past lap 1, but this time they're struggling here. They're struggling just a little bit. And with the chance of a safety car at this stage being very, very slim, they're going to have to pull off an absolute masterclass strategy. They're going to have to try and do something a little bit risky here. Now, would they want to go for a big undercut and hope that the tyre wear would allow them to get an advantage? Would they want to go for the overcut and pray for a safety car and maybe take the lead that way? I don't know if it would work. We'd have to wait and see. But with not too many... Oh, okay. Just about staying with the lobby there. I do apologise for that lag. Nothing I can do, unfortunately. But yeah, that's since the update, as he does go for that undercut. As I was trying to say, as he almost makes contact with the wall, braking as late as he possibly could. Those bumpy, that bumpy track surface definitely causes you to have a few issues. But onto that medium side, they will go. Now, the advantage they have here is they're not going to get any traffic, of course, on a different strategy, because there's not that many cars on track right now. So they're going to have clean air, which does make it a little bit more of a headache for everybody else. But they should be good to go. And they're just going to warm up these tyres, focus. Unfortunately, not the way they wanted it to be. They will warm up their tyres a little bit that way, but they're going to lose a lot of time by doing that as well. So unfortunately, not quite being prepared for those cold tyres on exit of the pit lane. And that is Wesley Caspers losing more and more time. So the top two are only getting more relaxed, and actually Zingy might be relaxing a little bit too much here, as Nifo has caught up quite a bit. So let's see, would Nifo be at a turning point, or are they trying to catch up maybe and look to go into the pit lane sooner rather than later? Nope, they're staying out as Zingy goes in. So they are going to go for that overcut. By how many laps, I guess they could try and push it to 2. If you leave it at 1, it's not really going to be that much of an advantage. Although it is Suzuka and it's quite a high tyre wear circuit. Maybe mid, I guess you could say. But yeah, it's quite a high tyre wear circuit overall, which does mean that Nifo might have the advantage by going for this overcut. Now, I think he's going to be good to go. He's not going to need to worry on this strategy. But we'll have to see how it goes. I'll have to wait or leave it for the chat to pray for people to not spin, because I am the commentator, and whenever I pray for somebody to not spin, they spin. It's only natural, right? So yeah, I do apologise to everybody on circuit that I prayed for them to not spin and they've ended up spinning. that's not me trying to say that I hope Nifo and Zingy spins, because I don't hope they spin. They just haven't spun yet. But yeah, I'll leave that up to the chat to pray for everybody else on track. Zingy looking to try and catch up to Eager Pro. I think they will catch up. It just depends on will Eager Pro try and fight this or not. I don't know. He doesn't have much of a reason to fight it, but also he doesn't have much of a reason to not fight it. He will go to the end of this race on this tyre, so he can do what he wants. And it's not like he's trying to help anybody here either. Now, Nifo goes into the pit lane 1 lap later, so they're confident going 1 extra lap would be enough, or they're just trying to not lose too much time. We will see Nifo exit the pit lane now. There you go. Back on the throttle they go, but such a difference in straight line speed as Zingy, of course, is already warmed up. Nifo, be careful on the exit. Make sure you react nicely. They do. They keep it together. So well done to Nifo to spot that the tyres would be cold, and they're going to try their best to catch up to Zingy. But look at the difference. They've lost over a whole second, maybe a second and a half, maybe even more actually, by staying out 1 extra lap. Nifo probably would have had a better chance of staying with Zingy and pitting on exactly the same lap. That is not what I expected, to be honest. Nifo could be in trouble here, as Eager Pro is fighting the position to go for the lead. They'll be right behind it. Zingy's actually struggling. You can see the flashing light as they struggle for ERS. Eager Pro not struggling for ERS. The grip advantage will be significant for Zingy here. If Eager Pro can get smooth onto the throttle, they might be able to get down the straight. With all that ERS, they might be able to challenge here. I don't know if they would feel it necessary to do so, but Zingy right behind. He could get pressured. He's gonna get pressured into the braking zone. It's gonna be possible, but no, Eager Pro backs off. He's gonna take the racing line, live to fight another day, and maintain that P2. Of course, Nifo's right behind, and they will want to try and stay ahead of them as long as they possibly can. Nifo is catching up quickly, and with Zingy having a bit of trouble from Eager Pro, it has helped them a lot. But of course, with Nifo also going to have to make that move on Eager Pro, they either need to calculate it very well, or they're going to get some trouble from Eager Pro as well. Eager Pro, like I said, doesn't really have anything he needs to think about. A good result is on the card, so he would want to think about that. But at this stage, he doesn't need to let these guys go. On the strategy, of course, the longer he can keep them behind, the better for him. So he doesn't have a reason not to fight the position, other than trying to maintain a good finishing result. But by fighting it, it would give him a better chance, of course. So we'll have to see. Eager Pro stays ahead. Nifo's got a bit of ERS here to try and push. Will they try and push to go for the Aston early on and try and get that clean air, or will they just let him go? They're close. They might gain some in 130R. Nope, it's not as much as I thought they would gain. So they're going to have to wait just behind a minute. They will get DRS. Let's see, can we get the first DRS overtake ever around Japan? I think this will be the first ever overtake in league racing history in the 22 game, and it will be. There you go. Now, Nifo takes that lead, and they will go into P2. 1.5 seconds is the gap, so instead, by going for that move on the DRS straight, they've actually gained a lot of time, and now they've immediately gained back that gap to Zingy. They were 3 seconds behind just a few laps ago, and now they're in a good position. They still got a bit to push, though. They still got a bit to push if they want to get into that DRS. They need to get that DRS if they want to manage the race behind Zingy. Zingy, he's going to be good to go. Like I said, the strategy won't really vary much between the top two by the 1 lap difference in pit stops. it will still be an advantage to Nifo as we get to the dying stages of the race. So Zingy might have something to watch out later on, but I don't think it will be that significant. At the moment, Nifo just has to try and push and not let Zingy relax, try and force him into a mistake. Right now, if it goes the way it's going, we'll have Zingy taking the win, and it'll be 6 different winners in the first 6 races of the season, and that would be pretty impressive. For Nifo's hope, he tries to break or not break that record, stop that record from going any further, and he wants to try and take another victory, and that would be 2 on the bounce, of course. So that would be awesome as well with the Japanese ties for the AlphaTauri team. That would be lovely to see for Nifo as well. I'm sure he'll be very happy with that. It's such a historical circuit to take a win on as well. So much character. The uphills, the downhills, the bumps, they're annoying, but they are a big factor in making the track what it is. Like downhill, back on the uphill. It's kind of a bit of camber. It lets you try and push the car just a little bit into the hairpin, of course. Bit of camber here as well, but it's not really that beneficial. So low traction on the exit of the hairpin as they dip a wheel into the AstroTurf. And also you can lock up the inside, the left inside rear, front as well, or I should just say front, not the rear, which will lose you a lot of time, and also stability. So you have to really be careful to not do that. It could really heat the pressures as well, heat the tyres, which would make it difficult going into the final chicane and even more difficult going into the S section. Now, Zingy's going to catch the Cisco. Did they get DRS off the lap car? I reckon they did. We'll wait and see. Down the hill we go. DRS available right here. Yes, they will. Looking to try and go for a fastest lap, maybe Zingy is. Looking at the fastest lap right now. Going to the inside line to spot their braking point, I guess. Going slightly wide, but nothing to worry about too much. They could gain here if they set a good lap on these medium tyres, despite them being a little bit older. Nifo currently holds that fastest lap. There are a couple of drivers behind that might want to take a pit stop and go for a fastest lap later on in the race, because everybody currently is in the points positions, so they do have the advantage of getting an extra point. So I don't know if it would be worth Zingy pushing for a fastest lap, and Nifo is just trying to maintain it. Zingy could get distracted here by Cisco's lap car. They've got a bit of an advantage with the DRS, of course, and they're still trying to catch up. They're really trying to keep it as tight as they can by pushing the limits. We'll have to see how it goes, though. Are they looking quick? We'll watch until we get to Sector 3, and we might end up dropping to Nifo. Are they going to go for a fastest lap here? Is it looking quick? No, it's a 3.5 tenths slower than their actual fastest lap. So Nifo looking to take, out of the top 2, of course, the fastest lap. Later on, I reckon it will probably be taken away. Giga Pro comfortably looking for a podium here. They just need to relax. Nifo does catch about 2 tenths to Zingy. That's brilliant news, but Zingy does now get ahead of Cisco. Cisco will give the position up, and Nifo's going to have to try their best to catch up. At the moment, it's not looking good for Nifo timing-wise. Almost said Nico on the line then. Nifo timing-wise, of course. DRS isn't going to be available just yet, as he now has the clean air. If they could have caught up a little bit more, they might have had the DRS on Cisco. But we'll have to see. I don't think you get slipstream, and I don't think you get dirty air from the AI car. It's only a slight distraction, and DRS is what you get. Unless ghosting was off, but we have ghosting on just for safety reasons. I know ghosting can be a little bit glitchy at times, but other than that, it's usually pretty good. 1.7, 1.8, 1.9, all of a sudden, Zingy's just found a lot of time into Spoon Corner. That is absolutely amazing there. Nifo will try and catch it back on the straight, but it's not really working. and Zingy has got an absolute blinder of a corner right there. Casper Sky, as I expected, got a couple people a bit further behind going for that fastest lap of the race. So putting on the softs around about now is probably, yeah, expected. They might even try and go for another pit stop and go for a final lap as well. They could possibly do that. Nifo will take the position, go slightly wide, as Cisco, annoyingly for them, is going to retake the position. So that's not exactly what they want. Once again, I want to say I don't know if Nifo is actually lapped, or if Igor is not actually in P3 and he's in P4 and Cisco is leading. I don't know. Yeah, Cisco could be lapped here, but he might not be. So he won't want to lose too much time to his teammate. If so, we'll only be able to find out the situation, of course, until we cross the line. Once again, Cisco struggling with decent problems like these. He's been struggling for quite a long time. He usually crosses the line and never actually finishes where he finishes. It's been happening for many, many games. At the moment, though, not moving out the way for Nifo's car, they might be in for a bit of a penalty here. They have stayed within Nifo's ghost car for quite a long time, and I would like to say Cisco won't get a penalty, but they will probably be under investigation, unfortunately, because of course look at the gap now between Nifo and Zingy. That's not exactly helped them. Casper Sky is starting their potential fastest lap here, looking to try and take it. Fuel-wise, weight-wise, and tyre-wise, they will have every advantage going for them, so there shouldn't really be too much of a question. It will just be like doing a time trial lap. Maybe even better, of course, with less fuel in the car. Unless they've, of course, gained some under the safety car, but I'm sure it wouldn't be enough. So they will be probably in a kind of better feeling car than... Well, actually, no. I was going to say time trial, but of course, if you've got a race setup on, it's not really going to be better. Of course, with a race setup, you dampen it down. But Nifo makes it back ahead of the ghost car of Cisco, and they are, once again, catching to Zingy. I don't know if Zingy's pushing here or if they are just maintaining the gap. They've once again now got 2.1 seconds. So they're really, really good on the exits, and that's no secret. Zingy, we know, is very good on the exits of corners. He does like to brake early and accelerate very early and get an amazing exit. But ERS, he is lacking a little bit on. So, yeah, I guess they could be pushing here. Nifo, are they lacking on the ERS side? Not so much, so they might be waiting for the last few laps, and I'll tell you what, the last few laps are on their way. Did Casper Sky just go for fast lap? I think they did. I think I just wasn't looking. Yes, they did. Now, Wesley Caspers is also looking for a fastest lap here. So we'll have to see how that goes. Nifo going to try their best to catch up to Zingy on the final few laps of the race. But at this stage, it's going to look very, very difficult. Alrighty. Zingy leading the way on lap 26 out of 27. They took P2, a front row, in qualifying. They got an amazing start. And if I'm correct, they've led the race for the entire race. Set from the pit stops with Nifo taking the lead, of course. So Zingy is on an absolute domination moment of the race, I guess you could say. So this is what we want to see from a champion, and he's doing a really good job looking for that sixth winner, the 6 races, and it would be quite possibly Zingy's first race win in a while, and he will take his 2nd win ever at Suzuka. That might even be the most we've had in LSI. I don't think we've had any double winners around this circuit. So Zingy is going to be looking very good for Suzuka. It's a track that he doesn't really like, of course, with being on a controller and the S section. It's so difficult, but he's found himself starting the final lap of the race in the lead by 2.6 seconds, looking for the first victory in a while, I will say. But still, their first victory of the season, and it will be sweet. This is looking very good for Zingy. He's just got a couple more corners to go, a couple more sectors to go. 2.7 second buffer behind. He doesn't exactly need to push too much. He's looking in a very good position. Nifo has given it their absolute best, starting last, trying to make it a last to first. Not intentionally, of course, crashing out of qualifying, but they are in P2, and I have to say they will deserve driver of the day by an absolute mile. This would be really, really good for them. So, top three doing a great job. Of course, EagerPro, very good strategy for them. Cisco, I don't know if they are actually in P3 or not. We'll have to see if the desync does play a factor, of course. But, yeah, at the moment as it stands, EagerPro's looking for a podium. And with the strategy, like I said, they've done a very good job to just keep it consistent. Wesley Casper's in P4 right now, looking a little bit twitchy, trying to go for the fastest lap if they've not already done so. They have done so already, taking it away from Casper Sky. After all that for Casper Sky, it gets immediately taken away. But Wesley Caspers realised the podium is a little bit too far away, and he's just going to get that extra point. Of course, going to try and take as many points as he can after scoring nothing in the last race. And also starting late on, I've already missed it though, Zingy wins the Japanese Grand Prix. Nifo will take P2, and EagerPro is going to cross the line to take a P3, their first podium in a while, and that's 2 podiums in a row at Japan. It's a good track for them, for sure. Wesley Casper's got the final few corners to go through, and he will look at, once again, another point-scoring position. It's not the win like he had, of course, in Emilia-Romagna, but it will be a very, very good one. It's not what he wanted, but at least there's points. At least there's points. As that is Casper Sky going to come home in P5. Going to go back to Zingy. I do apologise for missing that one right there. But Zingy, what a legend. What a legend. That was an amazing drive. Very, very dominant. Didn't exactly fight much, of course, which I guess you could call boring. But still, it's an art in itself, taking a win like that. Very well deserved. And the champion returns. Mercedes extends their championship lead now. And looking to try and take the drivers and the constructors. The Mercedes will continue, like they did last season, to top the constructors. And pretty much the entirety of LSI. Nifo, driver of the day. Well deserved for them. Amazing effort to keep us on our toes. And that is Zingy getting to the podium after a long, long wait. Waiting for the results. There you go. Zingy takes the win for the Japanese Grand Prix. Nifo will take P2. EagerPro in P3. Wesley Casper's in 4th with a fastest lap, followed by Casper Sky and Cisco in P6, finishing off the grid. Then we have Sven Nydam DNFing, followed by QKS Geisler and PJ earlier on in the race. We'll skim through the rest of the grid just in case. And yeah, then we'll be back for the posted interviews. Of course, looking right now, nobody got a time penalty in that race. How about that? We'll see you in a bit. Hello everyone and welcome back to the post-race interviews of the Japanese Grand Prix. That was, I'd say pretty intense in the end, of course, with the gaps. So, yeah, a little bit of something to say. Can't confirm right now, have to investigate it later on. But, like I suspected, there might have been some desync with Cisco. It's unconfirmed, but they might have been on the podium, and that would once again clarify why you could see the lapped car, of course, fighting Nifo for the position. So we'll get to that one later on, of course. But yeah, we start the interviews with Cisco. Cisco, if what we think happened, that was a pretty good race in the end. Are you happy with that one?
I'm definitely happy with that one, because even before the race I was like struggling to find the setup, because I was constantly overheating the tires and it's impossible to drive after 3 laps. So I'm definitely happy if that's a podium.
Yeah. So if that was correct, you were actually leading for quite a way. You actually got helped out by the safety car quite a lot as well. So
yeah, the safety car really helped me because I got the free stop and had actually a good pace on those hards. They really fitted me, so I was happy with them. And yeah, the disconnect caused me a few seconds, and yeah, also the desync was quite annoying because I couldn't see the live timing properly, so it was difficult to judge the gap between the guys.
Yeah, it's an unfortunate way for the race to go. It's an unconfirmed podium. That's now 2 podiums in a row, of course. At Japan, you got a P2 last time around, but yeah, still pretty good. Just going to quickly go and look at what the next circuit is, since once again I've forgotten. It is... No, my internet's failed. Just about getting there. Lovely stuff. Hungary. You like that circuit? You like that circuit? Are you looking for
I like it. It's just I'm quite slow in Hungary, but I like it.
Yeah, the tyres are going to be a problem, but everybody will be in the same boat. But yeah, hopefully we can see another good result for you and no connection issues. Other than that, one last question. How would you describe your race in 3 words?
I hate desync.
Thank you very much. We'll see you next time. Well done today.
Thank you, sir.
And we move on to Nifo. Nifo, I know it's not what you wanted, but from last to P2, Driver of the Day is definitely deserved. You were absolutely flying on the restart there.
Yeah, the qualifying didn't go to plan. I just got out of the box and did an outlap and then completely binned it. I don't know. I thought I had more grip on the tires. I trusted it a bit too much. I should give Pirelli a call, I guess. Race start was quite chaotic. I think I had quite a good start. I was, I think, in P8, and then I was just moving through cars through the field, and then Gijs hit the wall in front of me. Then Sven desynced behind me, so I was in P4 in the safety car. And during that, I was just fighting for positions again. And then I think the second restart, I had a really bad one because the game wants you to be in like 2nd gear, and I was in 4th, so I switched to 2nd gear, but my throttle was still pushed down, so I went kind of sideways. I lost a lot of time to Zingy.
Yeah, that explains it.
On the hard, Zingy was a lot faster, but on the mediums, I think we were kind of the same pace, and there was a period where I won like a second over him, was like, oh, this is possible. And then with Cisco and the desync, it kind of went away, and with myself as well, like I just couldn't keep up with him. So, but it was a clean race. I'm happy with the P2, I guess, because I'm ahead of the closest person I was Sven, and I think he didn't have a great position. So that means I'm P2 in the championship now, so I'm quite happy.
Yeah, that's great news. Also, even better news, the crash in qualifying wasn't actually on stream, so yeah, that's good to know. Hungary, are you looking forward to that one if Pirelli can do well enough with the tyres?
I mean, I've not had a good qualifying yet, but I think Hungary has always been quite a good track for me. So, I mean, I'm kind of looking forward to it. We'll see.
Well, you're master of safety cars, it seems. So, safety cars are very likely at Hungary, so you should be alright. One last question. How do you describe your race in 3 words?
Lost to 2nd.
Thank you very much. We'll see you next time. Well done today.
Thank you.
And we move on to Zingy. Zingy, finally it's arrived. You are a race winner in Season 9. How about that? 6 winners in 6 races.
Well, I aim to keep it 6 winners and 6 races next time.
Okay.
Yeah, that race was, oh god, it was something else. Coming to Japan, I knew that it was probably going to be a wheel circuit, but I adapted my setup to the first sector and really made the most of those curbs. And I found the pace on people, and I was really surprised. I thought I'd be battling for P3, but then I found the pace and I found the confidence, and I just shot away. And obviously, we had to do my trademark Zingy restart off under the safety car.
Yeah.
So
That was pretty good. No way have I forgotten.
he's just so flabbergasted by my win, guys.
No, that was an amazing race, and no way can I not think of what I was just saying. I'm not even joking. I had a question that I wanted to ask. I'm just gonna say, hardly any mistakes. Extremely consistent. This is what I was gonna say. It's not even a question. You've now won 2 races at Suzuka. Consistency is key around here, I guess. Even though you're on controller.
Just call me Lewis Hamilton.
Fair enough. I didn't think you liked them, but yeah. Alrighty. Well done today. One last question. Although we're going on to the next race, Hungary. Do you like Hungary? A bit more
not
of a controller
really.
track, or not really?
Not really. I just had something to eat, so.
Fair enough. Alright.
No. Okay. Yeah, Hungary. Contrary to belief, I actually kind of like Hungary. It's more of a flowing track than some may think on controller. Turn 4 is actually, when you get it right, it's chef's kiss, mate. Lovely. And the second sector's not bad, and the third sector's actually quite good. So I believe with the good amount of practice and the same amount of confidence and mindset I had going into this one, I could smash it out of the park again and probably win.
Yeah, well done. Extending your championship lead, very well deserved. One last question. How would you describe your race in 3 words?
Stop crying, man.
Thank you very much. I'll see you next time. Well done today. Alrighty, and I narrowly missed a voice crack. Thank you very much, everybody, for watching. We'll see you tomorrow for the F1.5 Championships, and we'll see you Tuesday for the practice lobbies. Other than that, it's been a pleasure, and good night. Bye-bye.